Hi guys, Grant Nelson here again with the Mustache Off-Grid YouTube channel. In case you're new to the channel, I cover various off-grid and homesteading topics. I live off-grid in southern Missouri in a log cabin, and I'm just going to get right into the video here. If you want to email the channel, you can send an email to mustacheoffgrid189@gmail.com. Alright, so I figured today I'd talk a little bit about a few different topics. One of them being the cell phone. So a while ago I made a video and I was trying to switch to a flip phone. And I switched to a flip phone from AT&T, and I don't know what to do with my hands. I'm like Ricky Bobby here. But anyway, I switched to a flip phone, and recently I switched back to a smartphone after maybe 6 months plus, because they started upping the price, monthly price, for pay-as-you-go. They upped it from $30 to $33, so I ended up switching to a $20 a month plan, and basically just got a smartphone for 30 bucks with it. It's Walmart Family Mobile. Pretty good price. But the fact is, the phone is keeping America and everyone's attention on it. And, you know, as far as it goes with the dystopian reality that we are walking into as a nation and as a world right now, I think that people are going to have to make a decision on whether they're going to break away or how they're going to do it, because you're either going to go with what's coming down the pipeline or you're going to go against it. And a couple of years ago, the World Economic Forum introduced some sort of documents, basically, and one of their discussions was that they were talking about this new reality, you know, the 15-minute cities and all that stuff. And they said that there would be people that lived outside of their system they wanted to create. And there's going to be people that make it outside of that system. More tribal living, maybe, I don't know. But with all these AI data centers coming down the line, you know, obviously they buy and sell your data off Facebook and all that stuff, and Google, and that's why it's free to use, because they take your data and then they use it for marketing to advertise to you. They sell that to companies that want to put ads on Facebook for certain products that you have Googled or looked up, or vice versa. And they claim, you know, that they don't monitor conversations, they can't see the room. But first off, they can definitely jack into your cell phone and monitor a room. I know the CIA can for sure. That's been proven multiple times. People have been able to do it. Different hacking people have showed people online how they can hack someone's phone and access the camera that is not in use. So how crazy is that? At least computer cameras and such, but I'm sure the cell phones are the same way. And this type of surveillance state has been going on for years. If you ever look into the company like Nielsen Holdings and some of the stuff that they've been doing, they do figure out how many people are watching channels and what people are watching on their TVs, basically. You know, that's how they figure out how many people are watching what shows at what time of day. So if they say that, you know, Family Guy is the #1 show in America and it had 2.6 million viewers last week, they know there's 2.6 million viewers because they know that your TV is channeled into that. And Nielsen's been doing that for years, and not only do they have statistics on how many people are watching the TVs, they have statistics on male, female, how many people are in the room, because it's not just 2.6 million TV sets. They are looking at it and they're saying there's 2.6 million viewers. So they know how many people are in those rooms. And they've been doing this since the 70s, 80s, 90s. You know, they've been doing it for quite a while. you can look into it yourself. It's a real thing. I actually learned about it in college in marketing class. So it's very interesting. You have to wonder if that's an invasion of privacy. When you buy a TV, does it disclose that on the television set? Or on 9/11 when everyone's television turned on automatically? You know, food for thought. So anyway, I switched back to a regular smartphone from a flip phone. I was trying to get away from the smartphone, but the price gouge just got me to switch back. And maybe I'm a sellout for that. I don't know. But that being said, even with the flip phone, it still had Google, it still had YouTube, it still kept my attention to it. And it becomes, the phone in and of itself is compulsive, whether it's a smartphone or a flip phone. The flip phones have the same capabilities as the smartphones now. You cannot get a flip phone that does not have internet access. It doesn't exist, and just has call and text. If they had it, I would get it for sure. But the issue with that is it doesn't exist anymore. And on that aspect, the flip phones now don't really do much. They're still a government tracking device. They still track you with them. They know your location data. And I'm going to get a couple stories here, that things that have happened to me that made me realize the phones. And you guys can drop your experiences with smartphones and the craziness of it in the comments, so that way maybe we could use this video as like a place where people can voice their stories and things that have happened to them as evidence, I guess, for monitoring. The fact that they're monitoring people. And you have to wonder, with all these data centers, how long are they keeping the data? How much data? What type of data? They really don't tell you anything about these data centers. All they tell you is that they are data centers. They don't tell you what type of data they're keeping in them or anything like that. In fact, it's kind of clandestine in a way. There's a lot of unknowns with it. They claim it's for AI, to store data for AI, but it's like, it's a very weird thing. That's all I can say. I'm not going to get into the opinion that it could be, you know, something to do with implementing the beast system and that type of deal with the Bible. It could be. I don't know. Anything, a lot of things could be. But, so first story I'm going to talk about here. There was one day with the flip phone that I decided I leave it at home. I left it at home. I was going to church and I left it at home. And I like to leave it at home or in my car when I go to church. I don't like to bring it into the church. I think more people should be doing that, leaving their phone away from themselves, at least for a while throughout the day. But that being said, I left my phone at home. I carpooled to church 30 minutes with my neighbors, which I usually do. And at church, we just started discussing Kirk Cameron and his opinions on heaven and hell. And as far as that goes, you know, I don't agree with his opinions on it, but I don't think it's a salvation issue. It's just a theological debate and issue on that angle. It doesn't matter in the grand scheme. If you confess Jesus Christ as the Messiah and you know the truth, that he is the way, the truth, and the light, the true Son of God, the Messiah, and you confess and you give yourself to the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, God, then you're saved. So anyway, all the other stuff is irrelevant beyond that. I mean, it's not irrelevant. It's relevant, but it's stuff that people get in debates about that sometimes the debates don't always go the way they should. Christians need to be more, work together a little more instead of push each other apart. denominations that have different doctrinal opinions and things, need to work those things out. But anyway, that's a whole nother issue. So anyway, I'm at church. We're discussing Kirk Cameron and his opinions on hell. So we get done. We discuss some other things too, but we get done. We drive home, and me and my neighbors are discussing Seventh-day Adventist and the opinions that they have on hell and just some of the differences and just having a general discussion about it, and not condemning anyone or anything, just agree or disagree, the points of view, and just having a conversation about what the Seventh-day Adventists believe on heaven and hell. And I got home to my flip phone, and on my flip phone I would hotspot off the flip phone and use a smartphone oftentimes. And the first two articles that come up were Seventh-day Adventist articles on heaven and hell and what they believe on that, the whole soul sleep deal and whatnot. And then the next three articles were Kirk Cameron and the public, just articles on the public outroar about his controversial views on heaven and hell that he came up with. So I didn't even have the phone on me, and somehow it sent me both those things right away, first thing when I got home. Obviously, when you look at that regard, the phone knows every Wednesday I go to Bible study at 5:30. It knows which church I go to. It knows the roads that I travel there from location data. It knows, and then even though I wasn't there, someone in that room must have typed it in their phone, or it was monitoring the room or something, whereas it knows that I could be there, and it knew that I probably wasn't near my phone because it knows when you're in the room. So obviously it knows those things. Location, it knows where your general routine, if you go to your 9-to-5 job every day, it knows the route you travel. It knows all of that stuff, how fast you drive. It's a tracking device. And that's one story that I thought was kind of crazy. And it had to have been using other people's phones to come up with that data, because my phone was 25-30 miles away, turned off. So anyway, that's pretty crazy, I thought. And then there was another day, and I was out in my hammock sitting in the cattle pasture, and I was just thinking myself, man, I could use some meat. I'm like, I'd like to go down to Arkansas and shoot a wild hog and can it, or preserve it. And I'd never shot a wild hog before. I thought it'd be cool to do, and I just thought it. I didn't type it in or anything like that. And the next thing you know, there was an article for hog hunting rifles pulling up on Facebook, and they were gunning down hogs out of the helicopters in the video. They wouldn't send that to just anyone. They're not going to send that to someone that's anti-hunting or anti-gun. They had to know very specifically what I had been thinking about to send me that ad, because it would have been offensive to some people. Of course, you can have advertisements that are offensive to everyone and just send it out, but they don't do that. So it's weird to me that I thought about this, and it was the next thing that had come up on my feed. And I see things like this, and you have to wonder right now how bad it is, how much worse it's going to be in 5 years. And there's a ton of deep conspiracies on mind control and MK Ultra type stuff, and the 5G and the 4G, and they're coming out with a 6G someday, and Some crazy things about the metals in vaccines and them interacting with the cell phone 5G. I don't know. I don't know about all of it. It's craziness. I don't necessarily believe all of it. But, heck, the conspiracy theorists so far have had a pretty good track record. Some things that I thought years ago were just absolutely bonkers and could never be true have been true. Some of the stuff about P. Diddy years ago and satanic Hollywood sex parties, I thought that stuff wasn't true. Man, it looks to me like there's quite a bit of good evidence for it. And then things like the chemtrails in the sky, I'd heard a lot of people coming around with that conspiracy. They're spraying the sky, they're spraying chemicals, and they told you you're a conspiracy theorist, you're nuts, and I never believed it necessarily, but I always was aware of the conspiracies, but I never really thought they were real until I seen good evidence, and I never saw good evidence for it, even though I looked for it. And then now they're just coming out, yeah, it's happening, it's going on, they're cloud seeding. I guess they say it's not chemtrails, it's cloud seeding, but they've been doing it since the 1940s. They claim, they spray silver iodide up in the clouds to make it rain when there's a cold front. And you have to wonder to yourself, is that all they're spraying is just silver iodide? Or is that just what they're telling you about? But anyway, someday, probably soon maybe, people are going to have to make a decision on whether they want to continue using the cell phone or whether they want to continue down this surveillance state path, or whether they want to make decisions in their own lives to separate themselves from that system that's coming down the line. And truthfully, at this point, I would say 95% of Americans, if not more, are not prepared to make that decision and not prepared to do what needs to be done. You look at something like recycling, and recycling in general has been a pretty large failure in my opinion. Sure, there's some parts of it that work, there's other parts that don't. But one thing about recycling is I know that when I recycle, it's probably a good thing not to just throw it in a landfill. It's probably better for the environment. Or when you put your shopping cart back at the store, there's just basic things that humans do that are good for everyone. Small things, growing a garden, just different things that if everyone does a small thing, a small part, and takes a small step in their life to defeat the globalists, basically, and the surveillance state coming down the line, and they take just a few steps, it would set back that agenda quite a bit. But in reality, a small percentage of the population recycles, a small percentage of the population puts their cart back, and a small percentage of their population will make any changes, however, how even smallly inconvenient they are to their lives for the greater good. But ask yourself today, what changes can I make to be a part of that greater good and to help? And do that in your life. Maybe it's getting rid of your cell phone. Maybe it's going through your settings on your phone and blocking the location services. Maybe it's getting rid of Facebook. Maybe it's cutting off some of your electronic devices. Maybe it's going fully off-grid and trying to really get away from technology in a way and setting yourself up for a future state that you don't want to have to be a part of, and trying to be more self-sufficient. Every step you can take to break away from that system that they are getting ready to implement in society is a plus, even the small steps. So anyway, hopefully I pump someone up here a little bit and they decide, hey, maybe I'm going to take a step in my life to break away from this dystopian reality that's coming down the line. So Anyway, that's just my rant for the day, guys. I had some rant on gardening I was going to talk about. I might put that video out still, but we'll see. I've got my garden going. The weather's nice. I just butchered a hog. The sheep are looking good. The grass is growing fine. We just got 2 inches of rain yesterday, and everything is just wonderful. And anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy the video. God bless y'all. Sit. Sit. Good boy. Good boy. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Make Bailey famous for YouTube. Hope y'all have a great rest of your day, and thank you for watching.